Hey, good evening. Welcome, 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 everybody. Thank you so much for coming this evening. I'm Ginger, Healing Heart Medium, Ginger Perrick, and this is our Monday Heart to Heart chat. And as everybody's coming in, just say hello. Let me know that you're here. Say hi. And let's get some things separated out here. There we go. Just let me know you're here. Say hi. Come on in. We give it a few minutes to let everybody know that we're live. There we go. Come in, say hi, say hello. Let me know you're here with me. And then we have a really, really special guest this evening that I'm super, super excited to have on with me this evening. So come on in, say hi, and let's go. So we have, hi, Kim Spencer. Welcome. Thank you for coming. We'll give it a few minutes and let everybody get their computers up and get going. And our topic tonight, hi Sheila, hi Kim, hi Shelly. Good to see you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Our topic tonight for Heart to Heart Chat is going to be about intuitive children. And having been an intuitive children, having grown up with people that are intuitive children, having worked in the medical field as a pediatric nurse, I saw a lot of intuitive children. And I think sometimes they don't always get seen, or they parents sometimes don't even know what to do with them because they're so sensitive and so intuitive. So I thought I would start out tonight with my special guest, and that's kind of going to be our topic tonight, is talking about intuitive children. Were you an intuitive child? Do you have an intuitive child? Do you know of an intuitive child, and how you might be able to help them not be afraid and to own their gifts? And I like to say God-given gifts that they're given, and to help them, kind of like a survival for, what we might be able to talk about with children that kind of surviving being so intuitive, because the world is a very busy place. Hi, Angie. Good to see you. And we're also going to allow you, if you know of any, we're going to have a little question session where you guys can ask questions to my special guest this evening. Hi, Julie. I haven't seen you in a while. Thank you for coming. So without further ado, I am so excited and so happy that my special guest tonight is coming on. I've known her for a while, more of a distance, but gotten to know her a little bit better over the last couple of years. My special guest is Laura Wooster. And Laura Wooster is a spiritualist minister that's ordained by the Journey Within Spiritualist, I can't talk tonight, Spiritualist Church. And she is also a certified medium with the Forever Family Foundation. And Laura is an intuitive medium. So without further ado, let me get everything going here. I'm going to bring her on. So everybody, welcome. Here we go. Laura, there we go. We have to take Erin out. Sorry, there. Thank you, Erin. Okay, hi. I may switch, to that. That works good. Hi, Laura. How are you?
Great. I'm so sorry I had to ditch you last time. I had no voice. We couldn't even talk. So I'm sorry. I know I was supposed to be on a few weeks ago.
You didn't.
What?
Oh, no, you didn't ditch me when I made the announcement that you were not feeling well. Everybody was sending you lots of love and healing. I said, let's just send her out some love and some healing. I'm going to scoot around in my chair here. It rolls around, and was sending you lots of loving and healing, because that's difficult when you do that. You speak for a living and then your voice goes.
Yeah.
It makes it really difficult. So
Right.
as everybody, it takes a little while for everybody to kind of pop on. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been doing intuitive mediumship and what got you started, and kind of go from there.
Sure. Yeah. It's been almost 20 years now since I started on this path. How I got started, like I always say this. I'm like, nobody whoever grows up thinking, oh, I'm going to be a psychic medium. That's what I want to be. It's like nobody. I don't know anybody who's done that, but that certainly was the case with me. But
Mhm.
when I started out on this path of trying to discover what mediumship was and the connection to spirit and everything, it was more just to understand what I was experiencing, to try to understand, how I was interpreting the world in a very different way, because it seemed to come on very suddenly. My sense of spirit and knowing someone was talking to me that I couldn't see. So it was very, as you can imagine, that was very, it kind of threw me for a loop.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah. So it was something I needed to to learn really quickly. And so to understand what was happening so that I knew
Mhm.
what to do. So
Mhm.
yeah, so that's what and then I just kept learning, and that's all I kept doing was just learning and trying to understand what it was all about. And then I ended up doing this work. And so that's where I am today. It's a short story, long story, um, but yeah, that's where I am.
Yeah. I grew up being very, very intuitive and sensitive, and saw a ghost when I was a children. When I was a child, my mom was very intuitive, and I would say she was a medium, but it kind of scared her, so she didn't talk about it a lot. But she would share things with me occasionally, that she would see things or hear things, but she wouldn't really talk out loud to anybody else. So
Mm.
when I was growing up, she never really said, you don't see what you're seeing. And she never tried to deny anything. She would always say, well, tell me more, and she would be very open to that. But I never really talked about it outside of my home.
Mhm.
Um, I was always interested in learning, but I really didn't. I think I was in, my mid-20s when things just kind of started popping open more and more and more, where I was hearing things and sensing things, even to the point one night I was laying in bed, asleep, sound asleep, and I heard my mother say, Ginger. And I woke up. Now, I lived in Phoenix, and she lived in, north of here, like 90 miles north of me. And
Mhm.
I heard her say Ginger, and I woke up, and I had this overwhelming sense that I needed to call and check on her. And I guess I was in my late 30s then, and
Mhm.
she was in heart failure and was having difficulty breathing. And she said she had just wanted to just stop, and
Mm.
just she was just so tired. But then she said, she knew that if she called out for me, I might hear her. So I ended up getting up and getting her to the hospital. But having that type of intuition
Wow.
sometimes is such a gift. But
Yeah.
other times you hear things and see things that are scary. Like when I first started doing mediumship, and actually knowing that I was able to connect and actually get it. Well, I don't even want to say get it right, but get all the details.
Mhm.
It scared me. It scared me, going, "Oh, I should not be able to know what went on with," it scared you. So it took a while.
Yeah.
And of course, then it takes a while for people around you to adjust, that you find your tribe, because,
Right.
some people are just not really open to it. So you end up really finding your tribe. So would you say you were an intuitive child?
Yes. I mean, I used to experience a lot of things when I was younger, and when I was under 10. And I used to hear things, sense things. I used to
Mhm.
sense things around people. Like, as children, most children, a lot of children are very intuitive. Children could pick up on things, and adults could be telling them something different, but
Mhm.
the children are
Mhm.
picking up on some. That's exactly what I was going through. And so people would tell me no, and I'm feeling very different. So I would sense spirit in my room. I didn't know it was spirit at the time when I
Mhm.
was younger, but then I kind of shoved it away because, as time goes on, like, if the world is telling you this is not what you're supposed to be feeling, or that's different, no, no,
Yeah.
and you're thinking it's a different one way, and the world's telling you it's a different way, you kind of stop talking about it. You don't mention it. You're just gonna. So that's what. And so I know it's a lot of intuitive children do. So that's what happened. And then it started to come up again in my 20s. So I think sometimes you just can't submerge that for too long. It eventually will come out. So
I agree with you. I think that, as children, we don't have a lot of stuff in our head, and we don't have a lot of things to keep us from seeing. I mean, I've worked with so many children that were so in tune to what was around them. But then
mhm,
as they got older and life got busy, and I think once they get into school and their brain starts, having to think in a different direction, and their, imaginative friends are like a number one thing that children that have gifts and be able to see it, they'll have an imaginary friend. I had an imaginary friend. His name was George. And my mom would say, well, tell me about George. And I would tell her that he would talk to me and what he looked like. If that was a spirit guide or a spirit, I don't know, but I saw him and I spoke with him. And so my mom never shut me down. But I think that children that have imaginary friends, when that they're playing with, I've even done some readings where I'll pick up on the sense that maybe a grandparent is there with a younger child, and I'll ask the parent, do
Mhm.
you ever notice them sitting and playing and having a conversation with somebody that you can't see? And they'll go, well, yeah. And I go, well, that's your mother or your grandfather or your brother, whoever the deceased is talking with them, because they are showing me that they're having that conversation with a child, because they're so open. And I think once they get into school and they start having to learn things, it does shut down. And
Mhm.
I'm grateful that my mom continued to ask me questions. What are you seeing? What are you feeling? Or she would share things that would happen to her. So I'm
Mhm.
grateful that she kept me enough open that I didn't shut it off. Because
Mhm.
I have found that people that are intuitive children, when they'll pop back open, is what I call it. They'll shut down for a period of time, and then they'll kind of pop back open in
Right.
like their late 30s,
Yeah.
like after they've done the college and the children and their kids are growing up, and then all of a sudden they have this openness where they'll actually start becoming more intuitive again. So
Mhm.
anyway, is anybody, while we're on here, it's a slow Monday night for me for picking up. I usually have a lot more people talking on here. So if
Okay.
you guys are here, come on in and let me know you're here. Say hello. Again, this is Laura Wooster, and she is an intuitive medium. You work with the ministry. So explain the difference. I know there's different, there's the, and I'm not going to find my words today. Let me see if I can find my words.
Okay.
There's like mediums, there's evidential medium do, and then there's the kind of more of an eclectic style mediumship. When you're a spiritual minister through the Spiritualist Church, they do readings, and it's very, very popular in Europe, especially in England, and
Mhm.
and not as popular here, except in certain sectors of the United States. It's popular, and it's mostly where people have come over from England to here.
Mhm.
Explain what that, can you give me a little bit of an idea what that is?
Well, spiritualist medium? Yeah.
Huh.
So yeah, so spiritualism is a religion, and there's 7 principles involved with it, but it's basically the knowledge that life goes on, that life continues on, and
Mhm.
yeah, so it's so funny. I feel like, and I was just saying this to someone today, was that um, like I've been a minister for about almost 2 years now, and I still feel like a baby minister. So there's so much I'm learning. I'm beginning to grow into the role a little bit here. It's going to take me
Mhm.
some time, but yeah.
Mhm.
So mediumship is part of spiritualism. It's not entirely everything. It's part of what we do to show that life does continue on. And another part of spiritualism is healing, hands-on healing. So that's part of the service as well.
Mhm.
If you go to a spiritual service, they'll have that included as well as the message work. So yeah, so it's
Is that like a Reiki?
what's that? What's that?
Is that like a Reiki, the hands-on healing similar to
Like
Reiki,
it's
or?
like that, yeah, it's an energy healing. So
Okay,
so
okay.
yeah. Yeah, so they do, it's part of the service, and we have services online, there's services in person, and that can be done in person or online. So, energy doesn't have, it's not confined to one particular space. So it can be done either,
Yeah,
online or in person, but that is part of the
yeah.
service.
Yeah, well, we've had people pop on. I think they're all done.
Mhm.
Hi, Gina. Hi, Heidi. Nancy. Hello. Pamela. Cindy. Let me see. We've got somebody saying good evening. Cindy is saying here, I'm going to pop up some stuff here while everybody is going. My childhood makes perfect sense now that I've been learning from everyone. Yeah, it does. It's odd to grow up as an intuitive, and you really don't know, and you're afraid to talk to anybody because you don't, especially depending on the type of religious background that you're brought up in.
Right.
Some religious backgrounds are completely,
Mhm.
they don't mesh with being intuitive at all.
Mhm.
Yeah, my goodness, don't we know about all the witch hunts and all the things that have happened to people over the centuries because they were intuitives? So I may not be able to stay, unfortunate, but wishing you all a good night. Oh, thank you, Pamela.
Yes.
Let's see here. Here we go. Minister medium, never heard of this, but she likes that. Heidi says she's never heard of a minister medium. That's part of the spiritualist church. So, and I don't know, you can always Google a spiritualist church usually and find out if there's one in your area, if there's something that you're interested in checking into. I think we only have 2 here, and they don't really do all that much. Well, they didn't for a while with all the COVID shutdowns. So let me see what else
Every
we
church
have here.
is different too. So
Yeah, my daughter always had an imaginary friend that she could see, and when she got older, she stopped seeing him and said he moved away. It's interesting. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes I think they're guides, or they're there for the child to just kind of almost for like a little protective angel or something that's around them when
yeah,
they see them.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
Julie
perfectly
has a long.
natural to, when you get to the
Yeah,
age of reason, it's perfectly natural to disconnect from your intuition. It's part of what we're supposed to do, and essentially for the
yeah,
logical. But it's
yeah.
nice to hold on to some of that too.
Yeah, my nephew would be laughing and talking when his mom would ask him who he was talking to. He would say, Grandma, the goofy one. My mom was a little bit crazy with the kids, so we understood why they called her Goofy. He
Yeah,
never had the opportunity to meet her. See, I've heard of children that have actually,
yeah,
talked with children that have actually talked to their grandparents that have passed before they were born.
yeah.
So that's and that can see and talk with them. And I think that is so beautiful and so fascinating that the grandparents kind of stick around to talk to the children. Let me see, what else do we have here? Oh, so Heidi says she's going to check out for a spiritualist church in her area. And oh, here we go. And it's all good. I'm from upstate New York. Yes, upstate New York has several spiritualist churches in upstate New York. Lilydale, of course, is one of the places that has a spiritualist
It's
church.
the birthplace of
It
spiritualism.
is the birthplace of spiritualism here in the States, anyway. Yeah,
Yeah.
but not so much over in England. And they have so many spiritualist church over there, and that have been around for a very, very long time. So let's see, what else can we bring in here? I'm sorry, I'm brain dead. I work today, so I have notes
I'm
below.
feeling that way too today. I don't know what's going on, but
You got a busy day too. So you have a podcast that you do, and I think Erin had looked that up, and she can pop that up for us for your podcast, where to reach you on a podcast. And you started that. Has it been 2 or 3 years now that you've been on the podcast, or even longer?
yeah, it's been a couple of years since I've had the podcast. I started in 2020.
Yeah.
So yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, there she goes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's at laurawooster.com. Oh, it's over in the comments. She put them over in the comments. laurawooster.com/radio. Is that the easiest way to find you? And that podcast, of course, you can get that on iTunes, or what other places can they listen to you? Because I see you have different guests that you'll have on.
Yeah, Spotify, Google, yeah. What's the other one? I can't remember. iTunes. Yeah, iTunes. You mentioned iTunes. Or you just go to my website. Yeah, click on the button and it's there. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you do those podcasts like once a week? You do a podcast?
Right, depending on when my guests are available. But yeah, I just like today. I just recorded an episode with Ann Hans, who's a tarot reader and tarot teacher. So we do that once a month, and we have people, come in and we read for them. And so, but I also, and I also interview, authors and other mediums and healers and people who are just, into spirituality and consciousness and things like that. So, yeah.
That's great. That's a great place to go also for Laura, because with her podcast, if y'all want to listen in with her, and I'm sure there's lots of really, really good information and stuff you could learn. So let's see what else. I was going to talk about how children that are intuitive have a tendency to there's some fear based behind it. I mean, I remember I wouldn't say that. The first time I ever saw a ghost was oh gosh, I had to be 4 or 5 years old, that it was my great grandmother. I never really knew who it was. I just remember
Mhm.
waking up in the middle of the night and someone was standing there talking to me, and I could only see them like from here up. And it was almost like it was a black and white picture. I
Wow.
know I was awake
Mm.
and she was talking to me. I couldn't really hear her, but I could hear her, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it was very calming. My childhood, I grew up in a childhood that was not the best circumstances. So things were always upturned, and you never knew what direction things were coming from. So I just remember her talking to me, this woman. I remember what she looked like, and I remember her talking to me. And I remember I was really, really calm, and I felt like I was protected. And
Yeah.
it wasn't until several years later that I finally mentioned it to my mom, and she said, "What did she look like?" And I told her, and then she told me that it was my great grandmother that
Wow.
was talking to me when I described her. So I wasn't afraid at that age, but
Yeah.
I think as kids, as we get older, as children, especially with, the television shows that are talking about ghosts and the fear and the monsters and everything, that kids start to become fearful of that. What
Mhm.
would you say if you had a child who started to become fearful? How would you handle, or what would you say to that child to try to remove that fear from them and let them know that it's not necessarily a bad thing?
Yeah, actually, my son
You're
used
like,
yeah, my son used to see spirit in his room, and he saw, who I believe was a grandfather that he didn't have any connection with, a very little connection with, and,
mhm,
so he didn't seem to be afraid of him because he would talk about, they would have conversations and they'd go on trips into the, they
mhm,
take him off into the ethers and stuff. But, at some point, he did get a little nervous because he started feeling other energy come into his room, and he wasn't sure what it was going on there. So what I did was I got a little bottle of, like, lavender spray, and I call it his monster spray. Not that it was, but, it could be angel spray, whatever you wanna call it. And I said, "Well, this is just energy," said and I said, "You have full control over your room. They don't have to come in." Say, and just tell them, "Not tonight. Leave me alone. Wait until I'm awake if you wanna talk to me, and I'll let you know." And it's like and I just have him go around the room and just spray the lavender spray anywhere he felt. And it probably took 2 weeks, and then he didn't have any problems after that. So, but
yeah,
the most important thing is to give a sense of control back to the child, to let them know that
mhm,
you can have a
yeah,
boundary with spirit. They don't have to interact with anybody in spirit if they don't want to. I think most times spirit people in spirit, especially grandparents who are in spirit, they already know if their child is going to feel safe enough for them to approach, and because they just know their heart, they know their mind, so they're not going to try to scare the child. But sometimes, because if a child is super sensitive, they will feel energy around them, and so it's good to give them a sense of control. And it's a very simple process, to be able to do that.
yeah. I made that works out really well. I made a aromatherapy spray that was lavender and bergamot, and
Mm.
it was called Hawaiian Lullaby because
Oh,
it was made for children to help them sleep, because of the bergamot is really calming along
mm,
with the lavender. And I also I would sell it all the time, and the parents say that they bought it for as the monster spray for
mm.
their children. They would call it monster spray. So for the children that were afraid to go to sleep at night, and they would give them that, and they had it right by their bedside, and it was made where it was safe for children, and they would use it to spray the room, the same thing that you did with your son, spray the room, and make sure that and tell them, not tonight, I want to sleep, go away.
Mhm.
And that's the same thing with adults. We get woken up at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning, and a lot of times, you think, oh, is this menopause, or am I, did I have too much caffeine? But a lot of times it's the veil thinning between 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning that allows
Yeah.
spirit to come through and talk to you,
Mhm.
and you'll wake up. Usually I wake up thinking about something that had happened with a family member, or thinking about a family member or something. And that's usually when I know my family members are trying to come through at
Mhm.
2 and 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. And sometimes I'll just say, if it's important, let me know. If not, then I need to go back to sleep. But that's the same with kids. So the nightmares that they have sometimes, or just may actually be them sensing the energy of a family member or someone in the room that has passed. So
Sure.
that's a really good thing to do with the Monster spray.
Yeah.
Here we go. We got more people popping. I'm going to pop some. I like it when they talk. I haven't had any religion growing up. I was adopted and basically grew up on my own. Would sit with friends and tell them about things that were about to happen before they happen, or people that are about to come down the street. Yeah,
Oh,
that having that sense, that intuition in that sense. And yes, if you are, and then of course, oh, there we go. Lily says she's an intuitive and an empath, and most empaths are very, very intuitive because you can kind of pick that stuff up.
yep.
And then I've got my granddaughter told me one day that my grandma was here. I was like, what? She's 3. So no, I talked to whoever she says is here. Yeah, the 3-year-olds are really good at that. That's a
Very
really good age for them.
Yeah. It's
I
one.
love that. Let's see. One more down here. I, to this day, have animals that do that to me, and I tell them to go play when I'm sleeping. Yeah, when the animals that have passed away.
Mhm.
I've had dogs and cats that I've lost that I'll still feel them walk across the bed. Or I had one dog that used to just snore. She was like 15 when she passed away, and she had such a snore when she slept. And for like a month or 2 after she left, I could still hear her snoring at night. So
So
it was kind of, yeah, I'd had her for 15 years. That's a long time to have a dog. So I
yeah.
was trying to look up information, to see if there were any children's books out there. And I don't know if you know of any books about this, but I know they've got the Indigo Child is one of the books that they sell. I was trying to look like through Hay House and Amazon and trying to see, and there's not a lot of books out there unless you know of any that talk about the intuitive child and how to work with your intuitive child. Do
Yeah,
you?
there's not.
I've tried to do research and all that.
Yeah,
Is that
there's
Indigo book
isn't.
for
Yeah,
Indigo
there's
children?
not a lot. I know that Sonia Choquette has one. I think The Wise Child, I think is the name of it.
Hmm.
I think she changed the net title at some point. I could be wrong about that. But that's a good one. But you know what I
Isn't that
found?
what she wrote with her daughter?
Hmm?
Sorry, I'm sorry. It's one I think she wrote with her daughter, didn't she? With about the
Maybe.
wise child. Yeah,
Maybe. I'm not
yeah,
sure. Yeah. It's
yeah.
possible. Yeah, lovely people. I've met both of them. They're so nice. But they're what I found, a lot of people said maybe you should write a book, to help children, intuitive children. But you know what I find I think is much more helpful than maybe writing a book, is I would suggest to the parents to take a psychic development class themselves or an intuitive awareness class for themselves to get to know their own,
Mhm,
because we're all
mhm,
intuitive, we're all psychic, to some degree. So if we can
mhm,
learn what our own senses are and how it works for us, we can then be aware of how it's working for, we can observe our children and see how it works for them and have conversations with them and help them through that. Um, so I think it's much more, I don't think it's much more helpful than just reading a book and trying to apply the same things to every child. So I think
mhm.
we know our children much more than anybody else does. So I think if we can understand how it works and see how it applies for our children, then guide them and help them to continue to be open and know that they're safe and protected. I think sometimes we put a fear of so much fear into children about energy and being overwhelmed and all those things. And sometimes people, I know there's a lot of very empathic children in the world, and I was one of them. I totally get it. And it's not, and
Mhm.
I think sometimes we have to be careful, because I think we're much more protected than we realize. I think we try to put it out there. We have to protect them from evil spirits or something. I don't believe in that. I believe in that we are always protected.
Right.
And but
Yeah.
also, but also be incredibly aware of when there's too much going on, and to maybe not force them to go into situations where there is too much going on. I think they can get drained very quickly.
Mhm,
We don't want to. We don't want to over. I think sometimes there's this trend, especially to put kids into all these different situations and keep them social continually, play groups, uh, um, any kind of like extracurricular activities, no downtime, no chance for just unplanned creativity and alone time.
mhm,
I think that's incredibly important,
Mhm.
especially for the empathic child. And it's not. Some people think it's coddling them, and I don't think so. I think it's so important, just in general, even just not for highly intuitive empathic children, to be okay with solitude, to be comfortable with solitude, not loneliness or being alone, but solitude. I think it's very empowering for people to be able to do that. So I think that helps every child, not just the empathic and intuitive child. Um, but yeah, so to be tuned in, if you know, to be tuned into your own child and say, okay, I think they know what their limit is, as far as people time, group time, all those things, and allowing them that space. So that's the most important thing.
I have to agree with that because I know that the our parents that take their children, and it always floors me, and that this is my little nursey brain going off in the but when you're at the grocery store at 10 o'clock at night and there's a child there at 10 o'clock at night and they're tired and they're crying and they're well, I mean, I think it's overwhelming for them I know sometimes you have to take your child with you and you should never leave your child alone, but I mean, but to do things late at night with children when they've been going all day long, and then
Mhm.
that's overstimulating to me, I would think, for a child. But have and not but you're right, that safe, that protection, that just sitting outside. Oh my gosh, the times that I spent just coloring by myself or sitting outside and playing in the dirt or looking for worms. I was a bit of a tomboy, but getting outside and doing things and not having to constantly interact with other people, because pressures and social pressures are really difficult for children, as it is anyway today. And that, you're right, it is very important to give them that time to just be by themselves and do their own thinking. And I
Mhm.
think that helps keep our mind calm and not have to constantly think if we do stuff like that. I agree with you on that. Let me see if anybody has animals is sensitive to people's feelings. Yes, I feel my children are my animals. Yes, my children are my animals. I've never had my own. So, and usually my little guy's, he's over here behind me sleeping. My one mini Australian Shepherd never leaves my side, so he's back here. He's like my little work
Same thing
dog
goes
with
to
me.
fur
It
children.
worked for you,
Same thing goes for
huh?
fur children. We know when our animals are getting overwhelmed and they need their own space and solitude, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. So I have two dogs, and one is asleep back here right now, and my other one is in the other room asleep because they need to be apart from each other even. So let me see here what she says. Having worked with preschool children, you found it harrowing to see some of them exhausted with their schedules. Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yes. We shouldn't put that much pressure on kids. You have to let them be kids. You really do. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, they should do their homework and their chores and stuff, but you still should allow your children to. That's how they developed their personalities. That's how they learn to like themselves. That's how they learn to see what they like and what they don't like around them and make those choices. And if you're constantly pushing them, then they're never going to make their own choices. They're not going to be able to say no. And
And they
that's
don't have
important for them to be.
Yeah, they don't have a chance to
Go ahead.
actually listen to their own intuition because someone's always telling
Mhm.
them what to do and what they need to do next and do this, do that. And if you don't have quiet time, you can't hear your own intuitive voice. So it's so
Yeah.
important. Yeah.
And you don't really get them into that fight or flight mode also, by them not having that downtime and that constant stimulation. It puts them kind of naturally, instinctively, as humans, it'll kind of put them in a fight or flight, and then they won't cope with everything that comes at them if you're constantly coping for them in so many ways or putting things out there. So pre-K, high school, and was a sub. Yeah, Lily says she worked with them. So
Mhm.
working through that, having that personal time with children, and then taking that class also as a parent or a guardian or what, as learning your intuitive skills and being able to understand the feelings really does help to be able, because if we don't experience it, how can we honestly explain to a child? And they expect honesty, and they can see right through you. Most children can see right through you. They know if you're being truthful.
Mhm.
They know if you're, being honest. They know if you're afraid. If you're afraid, they're going to be afraid. So I agree with you. I agree with you on
Yeah.
that. That's
And it helps.
most.
It also helps to when we learn ourselves about our own intuition and how to describe what we're feeling. It's one thing to describe what you see, what you hear physically with your physical eyes and your physical ears, but to actually try to describe what you're sensing and what you're seeing clairvoyantly and what you're hearing clairaudiently using those words. It's a whole different language. And sometimes kids don't have that language. So if you have that experience to be able to learn how to let them know. So what are you feeling? And they don't like, okay, is it this, or this, and try to give them a language for what they're feeling. Cause some kids just don't know how to say it.
Yeah. To them trying to guess or them acting out because they don't know.
Yeah.
They're acting out because they don't know what they're feeling and what they're experiencing. So kids don't know how to express it without being shown how to express it. We're the ones that are supposed to show them how to handle. So, and then they act out. And then you think, well, I've got a child with behavioral issues, when in turn, you may just have a child that's super, super sensitive or super empathic and doesn't know how to handle those feelings instead of. And I mean, there's a place for medication in many different ways, but not always with children. A majority of those that I think that, and this is my opinion, my personal opinion, that are medicated are really because they were never taught how to handle the emotions, or they don't know how to handle what's coming at them. And they're just so overwhelmed. And then they think, well, just give them a pill and just dull their senses,
Or
calm them down because they'll stay straight.
Just scrolling constantly. That's another drug, just the scrolling. But
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that to me is, I mean, there's a place for it. I think it's wonderful. And there's a lot of things that kids can learn. They have so much more access to knowledge on the internet than we ever had. But still, it is I feel it's a form of addictive behavior that they just tuning out. And and the thing is too, like, I know with my own granddaughter, I would when I talk to her and she gets upset, I'll ask, I say, "Are you mad?" And she's like, "No," and I try to give her words to describe what she's feeling. It's like, "Are you disappointed?" "Yes, I'm disappointed." And so it's so important, especially for really empathic children, to be able to express what they're feeling, so that we can address what they're feeling in a very helpful way, in a healthy way too. So
Because that can come out a lot.
yeah,
We got someone.
they can be punished for feeling. It's like that's the worst thing we can do for empathic or intuitive children, is be punished for feeling. And so to give them those words that, and oftentimes that they can verbalize it, they'll feel more in control and be able to express their emotions and feeling that overwhelmed rather than getting angry. Lily says it puts a lot of stress on them. Yes. Yep.
Yeah, let me see. Do we have anybody? Thank you, ladies. Oh, she has an interview tomorrow. Well, good luck to you. You have an interview. You're going to work with animals. Good luck to you, Lily. Lily, I think she does live in, I have talked with her before. So yeah, if they don't know how to express their emotions, and I've heard growing up, children are to be seen and not heard, and you're supposed to be quiet and don't cry and, be tough and, don't show your emotions and all of that, just especially if you're sensitive and an empath, that just builds up, and then it turns into anger and burst and those type of things. So, the intuitive class is really good. What about good luck to you, Lily. I've never even seen, I know some parents I've talked with will use like angel decks with their children, and will give them some like angel decks and let them pull their own card. I know there are some really nice, gentle decks out there that have beautiful artwork. Have you ever used or suggested angel decks or any type of a card to help a child work with that? And if so, maybe who have you suggested?
Yeah, I have. I've actually used angel cards with my kids when they were growing up. I took them to take a class with Elizabeth Foley, who was an angelologist here in New England, and she taught angel cards.
I know Elizabeth. Yeah.
So she taught angel cards for
Yeah.
kids, and my kids took her class, and it was good. It opened up to other ways of thinking and sensing, and yeah, it's okay to use angel cards. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know Elizabeth, I did my one of my mediumship classes I did with Elizabeth, and I met her at Lilydale. She just opened up a center, I think. She's a really amazing lady. She's up in, is she in New Hampshire?
She
I
is.
think she's in New Hampshire. Yeah, she's in New Hampshire. She's a really, really smart, beautiful human being. She's so smart, and I really enjoyed her. So, yeah, and that's something to look for in your area. Whoever's watching, if there's someone that has, I mean, Doreen Virtue, of course, has angel cards. I guess Radley Valentine now is kind of working with the angel cards. And I know there are several other kind of decks out there that are more angel cards. I'm just trying to think who else. I know John doesn't have angel cards, but he's got like heart cards and some other cards that are really nice.
A couple
That he has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah, they're good cards. Those are good
I'm
decks.
just trying. Does anybody
Oh, sorry.
which deck?
No,
go ahead.
I know like Radley Valentine's decks are great. Yeah, he's a great guy, and it's really he's very sweet, and so like that would be a great place to start with kids.
Yeah, with his deck, because the artwork is beautiful. The messages are very beautiful, and there's like really nice for the three angel decks for that. So does anybody have, while we're still talking with Laura, we got about 20 minutes. Did anybody have any questions for Laura? You can ask her about mediumship. You can ask about intuitive children. We'll see. This is a quiet night tonight. There must be something really good on TV that we're missing tonight. I'll say, I don't see if anybody has any questions. Let me think what I would ask. Well, do you teach any classes through the center that you work with? Are you doing it? Are you teaching any classes?
Yes, I am teaching classes. I'm part of a group that teaches the intermediate mediumship at the Journey Within. We'll be offering some other classes coming up soon too, and I'll be teaching in person as well with Joe Scheel at the Journey Within.
I love
for mediumship.
Yeah.
And I am. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, that's okay. I just said how much I like Joel. Yeah, he's really a nice man.
So, yeah, he's really good. But I'm going to be expanding on some online teaching as well coming up. So I know some people have been asking for like intuitive development or basic psychic development classes. So online. So I'll be offering that as well. So.
And they can find you at laurawooster.com for that. And then everybody, I can't believe how quiet out there. Either that or my internet is like really slow because nobody's making usually the comments are going. I usually pull cards. So I get like a lot of people immediately because I like pull cards and do quick readings and stuff. I think, we could, just for the people that are on tonight, do you want to pull a couple cards for people tonight? Do you do card pulls?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've got them right here.
So, all right. So we'll spend the last like 15 minutes for those that stuck with us tonight and brought tonight. It's quiet. I usually have a lot more people on here than that tonight.
I think just something to think about too. It's like, and I'm not an astrologer. I try to learn astrology. I don't know astrology that well, but my sense, and I have an astrologer friend, Dorothy, who says I'm tuned into the astrology, like the energy of astrology, but I don't understand astrology. So she'd probably, if she's watching, she's probably nodding like, yeah. But there's something going on right now. And I just want to put that out there for everybody. Okay. And this might be the reason why a lot of people aren't online right now. And I think a lot of people haven't been online for a few days. I know we've all been kind of overwhelmed for a while. But there's something going on energetically. And I don't know what it is. I wish I knew what it was. But if you're feeling extra tired lately, you're feeling like just needing to disconnect from electronics for a while, more than you usually do. You're just kind of feeling out of sorts. there's a lot of that going on right now. Have you been feeling that, Ginger? A little bit?
I have been feeling that, just really not wanting. I mean,
Yeah.
and now everybody's waking up. I really have felt that. I think Saturn, I've got a friend, her name is Catherine, and she does astrology because I'm not good at astrology either. I know I'm a Taurus, I know I'm an Aries rising, a Scorpio moon, and I
Yeah.
know that I was
Yeah,
born during
Scorpio moon
Mercury retro.
too.
Yay! And I know I was born through I was born right at Mercury retrograde, so I always considered that's why I'm backwards. No, I'm kidding. But yeah,
Yeah.
but Saturn hits a critical position of 29 degrees in Aquarius until March 8th. So anytime a planet goes to 29 degrees of any sign, the energy is chaotic. There's a sense of urgency to finish up whatever we started in December from 2020. And it says that do your best to think before you act, especially if you are pondering a big change. Take time to meditate and journal on it. So that was her little comment about Saturn hitting a critical position at 29 degrees. So
Yeah.
that, hey, look, we've got, so I have, let's see, we have Beth. And she says she just came on, so she caught up the last couple of minutes. Thank you, Beth. How do you know, see, or feel your child may be intuitive?
They don't mind spending time on their own. They don't. They like their solitude a bit.
They're
They
really good with animals. Animals are great.
Animals are drawn to them. Absolutely.
Mhm,
They tend to
mhm.
read a lot too. They tend to draw into other worlds by reading. They sometimes they can be very creative. That they tend to shy away from a lot of kids, like from crowds, from kids all gathered, or they can't do it for very long. They can't be around them for very long. So yeah, and you just kind of know, and they tend to be very emotional, but you may not know where it's coming from. So I think that's some of what an intuitive child is. And they may
Yeah.
talk about seeing colors around people. My son used to talk about seeing colors around people all the time. And he didn't know. He would just talk about so and so is this color and so is that color. And I'd have to it's kind of difficult to describe to a child why they're seeing what they're seeing. But I knew what he was seeing. Oh, that's
The
wonderful.
aura.
Yeah, the aura. Yeah, like I'm seeing they're very red, or or I'd be meditating and he'd say, or I'd just be, there was, I used to take a meditation class and then I'd go pick him up from school. And then he would say, your aura is really white right now. And it's like, yeah, I was meditating. It's just so cool. But,
Isn't it beautiful? Yeah.
yeah, but he doesn't see them anymore, unfortunately. But,
Or they
um,
have a tendency to see people and not say, I don't like them. I mean, they'll
yeah,
say the children or the mommy, I don't like them or I don't want to be around them. And they're really sensitive to people that don't put off a positive
yeah,
energy also. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So let's see. A lot of people are tired lately. Yes, a lot of people are very tired. I think part of it, I think, is um, I feel this is intuitively that I'm feeling. It's like post pandemic tiredness. Like we're just it's like waiting for the shoe to drop kind of thing. It just is
Mhm. Mhm.
exhausting. A little bit of that going on. Heidi says she's got the blahs. Yeah, so you're not the only one. So my sense, I just want to put this out there for people for the next couple weeks, maybe 3 weeks or so. We might have a lot of the same feeling, sort of that blah feeling, kind of tired. Might get a little more chaotic in the news, but just know it's going to get better. It will get better. So, because I
And
know.
the weathers, I think we've had a lot of storms this year, and that is energy. A lot of the
Mhm.
snow, I mean, it snowed in California and Huntington Beach. A friend of mine posted
I know,
snow on the beach
right?
in California. So I think that weather change also changes our energy. Also, if
Mhm.
you're really sensitive, weather changes will also cause you to feel that way a little bit. If we're going to, let's see here. Anybody else?
Someone did ask for a card. Let me
I
see.
think Aaron can bring up, Aaron, we're going to do a couple cards here for the last few minutes that we're on. And then let's see, I found that the topics may also be very helpful and interesting. Oh, thank you, Nancy. So if Aaron, you want to see who is up and you can kind of pop that up for us, let me see what she says. 3 people want cards, she said. So that's good. So there we go. Cindy, let me pull a deck here. Oh, what do I want? What deck do you have that you're working with?
I have the Psychic Tarot deck.
I was going to reach for that also, but I'm like, oh gosh, I could do.
So Cindy, let us know what's your question? Like, what do you want to know from the card?
Yeah. Go ahead and ask your question, Cindy. What do you want to know from your card?
In what area of your life would you like some insight about? Let's see what Cindy's got to say.
Give her a second. So if you guys want a card, just ask a question and we'll go from there.
Adriana asked for a card. Lisa, Shelly, Nancy, Ellen. Ella. Okay. All right, let's see what Cindy says. What would you like to know, Cindy? Or what would you like some insight on?
Let's see if she pops up there. Shelly, Theta.
Spiritual. Lisa. Okay, Lisa's asking about insight about family dynamics. Shelly's asking something spiritual. Okay, will I get my life back on track? Happiness. Alrighty, let's see what we need to know about that. Okay, let's see, Cindy.
I'll let you do Cindy and then I'll grab the next one and we'll just kind of go. I decided if you're going to do that, then I'm going to do the heart deck.
Okay. Cindy Tarot for the heart.
Because I almost reached back and grabbed the tarot deck and I thought, well, no, you grab that one. So I'll do the heart deck. Yeah.
Okay. So Cindy, will I get my life back on track? Yes, you will. You absolutely will get your life back on track. It already is starting to do that, is my sense here. There's like little tiny signs, little tiny steps that are starting to happen where you start to feel like, okay, I might be getting back there, right? So have you already experienced that, Cindy? And just, you can let me know. I just feel like there's little tiny steps that have been happening, but you're waiting for the big leap, right? the definitive leap that everything's going to be okay. But the thing that I feel like you're starting to step into a bit more, yes, Cindy says yes, is recognizing how powerful you really are. I know that sounds kind of cliche. You hear people talk about that in the spiritual communities. Oh, you're more powerful than you really are. But you really are. And it's just, but the thing is, you haven't really realized that yet. It's like you're starting to, but feel I'm falling back. And you probably will. 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but you're still moving forward. Okay. And just recognizing that the ebb and flow of life is perfectly normal, that it's not always going to be completely going forward constantly, consistently. It's always back, back and forth. There's some ebb and flow to it. But I feel I'm falling back. Yes. And the thing is that is, when those times when things are moving forward, and this is where affirmations come into play. And this is funny, I used to listen to Hay House Radio way in the beginning when it was first started, right? Mm-hmm. And I listened to people like Louise Hay, and I wouldn't say I was a pessimist, but but she would be talking about affirmations, and I'd be like, how can a simple sentence change your life? I mean, really? Come on. But honestly, it really does help. It helps you to focus on what's good in your life, right? So when things, those little tiny steps moving forward, when things are going well, and just write down all the blessings that you've got that day. Write them down in a book. And then the times when you feel like you're kind of stuck, or things aren't moving forward, you can also use the affirmation of something like, thank you for blessings that I know are coming. Thank you for the blessings that I know that are coming. Or thank you for the delay that is protecting me from what I don't want. So oftentimes the things where we feel is we're being denied something, or the things that we want in life aren't coming quick enough, we're actually being protected. Whether it be from the things, or I'm doing too many bad things to myself. Okay. And that's something to look into, and recognizing. The good thing is you're recognizing that you're doing that, Cindy. I'm doing too many bad things to myself. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And what I would suggest too, and this helps, again, the affirmations are fabulous. They really do help. Only pick one or two. You don't have to have a lot. But what I would suggest too, and I did this a while back, many years ago when I was first trying to understand this world, is take a picture or find a picture of yourself as like 5 years old, around that age, right? And put it somewhere that you're going to see fairly often. And when you start to do those things that you feel are bad for you, or to talk to yourself in a way that you know is not helpful, is imagining saying it to that 5-year-old girl, that 5-year-old that in that picture, that's you. And you'll find yourself like you won't be able to do it. It'll be really difficult to do it because we all have that child inside, right? So so remember that's who you are, that the innocent child. So that's what I would suggest. So pick a couple of affirmations that ring true for you, and talk to a picture of yourself, and then and then ask yourself, how can I change the words that I'm saying to myself? And how would you say, if this little girl was standing in front of you, how would you be speaking to her? And go that way. All right. Yes. Well,
That's beautiful.
and then Cindy says, I cry while looking at pictures of myself. Yes. And you probably, and that's actually a good thing. It's you're getting in touch with who you are. And it might also indicate, if you haven't, to talk to a therapist as well, because there might be some things that need to be worked through from childhood. So it is the best thing you possibly could do for yourself. I promise. Okay. I hope that helps, Cindy. Yeah.
That's beautiful, Laura. Yes. Well said. Who would be, so the next one I think I'll do, and Erin can bring up who's next, and I'll pull their card. Hi, Heidi. So let's see what I can do for Heidi. I had joy and stability. What a beautiful card for you. And that is a really, really good energetic card for what's going on with the energy of the world right now, is to remember to stay in your joy. Hold on to your joy. Don't let anybody steal your joy. And I think, for and let me find my words here as they're coming in. A lot of us forget to hang on to our joy, or we give our joy away because we're people pleasers. So we're always looking to please people and make them happy and do all of those things, but yet we forget to please ourselves and to give things to ourselves and give our self-love. So when I'm looking at this card for you, Heidi, what I'm feeling is that remember to hang on to your joy and to do things that are my puppy's standing up there, scratch, sorry, that are joyous to you. And by doing those joyful things and staying in that joyful state, it keeps you in a stable, I feel like it would keep you in a stable state of mind to just smile at yourself for no reason, smile at other people for no reason. I think with all the masks, I don't know if you've noticed this, Laura, but without us wearing those masks for those 2 years that we wore masks, people have forgot eye contact. People have forgot how to smile to each other and they're just like hyper focused on get to point A and point B because of all the fear that happened with the pandemic, that we need to get back to being our humans. We need to get back to connecting with humans, because humans need to connect with humans in order to survive. We can't, that's not that failure to thrive. If you have a child, that you can feed them a bottle all day long, but if you're not holding them and cuddling them and showing them love and compassion, they won't grow, they won't survive. And as humans, we need that to survive. So with you, I just feel joy and stability is just something that's really important for you right now. And something to really make sure you hang on to. Don't let anybody steal your joy. Hold your joy close. I have a tendency to let people steal my joy because I try to be a people pleaser all the time. So, but I've learned my boundaries. My motto right now is my boundaries are sacred. I love everyone, but I have to keep my boundaries. So that's something that I've had to practice. So I hope that helps, Heidi. So there we go. So, all right. You've been working with that for sure. Good. Yeah. Joy is beautiful. I think that's one of the best 3-letter words out there is joy.
Yeah.
So
I think it's better than happy. I don't know, because how do you define happy? You can define moments of joy, right? We all have moments of joy from time to time, but happy is like, it feels so elusive, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody's, you should be happy. Why should I be happy? But you could be joyful.
You can have a moment of joy for sure. Yes.
Yeah. So who would be next for Miss Laura, Aaron? Hey, Theta, about her health. Look at that baby.
Health, huh? So Ginger, what do you do when people ask you about health questions?
I want to know, is it emotional, spiritual, or physical health that they're looking at, or is it a combination of all? I mean, there are different types of health. We have emotional health, spiritual health, and physical health. So what I would say, Theta, what is it that your concern is with your health? Maybe give us a little bit more information. That's a really hard one to answer because we're not physicians. We're not, we're not in the medical field to answer a health question. So if you could kind of let us know in what direction you're talking about your health, that might help us a little bit. That's a hard one to answer sometimes, though, because then we're like playing doctor, and I don't want to play doctor.
Yeah, we can't do it.
I'm a nurse.
Right? We're not medical intuitives, yeah. So, cards really aren't like Ann Hens often says, and I agree with her that cards or tarot in general is not a good vehicle for advice about health. So,
there's a Louise Hay book, Heal Your Life, that's out there. That's a really good book. And she said it's a physical, she has something going on with her spine. So I would look at, and I don't know if Laura feels the same way, I would look at the Heal Your Life book and see energetically what that type of pain or something with your spine might mean. And maybe you can work on that on a personal level why the physicians and stuff look at the physical part of that. Do you agree, Laura?
Yeah, I think I think it's great to look at that in addition to going to the doctor and having it checked out, because I think then you can find how to support yourself energetically while you're physically healing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wish I could give you, I'm not a medical intuitive, I can't give any advice on that. But I agree that the energetic piece I would definitely look into. Yeah.
Yeah, there's another book out there. Oh gosh, what is it? I've got it right here. The Secret Language to Your Body by Anna Segal. That's another one that's got. Have you heard of that one?
I haven't. I'm gonna have to look.
That's an interesting book. Yeah, you can get it on Amazon. It's really good for and it'll go into back pain, spine pain, and it will give you affirmations, and it will tell you what it could be on an energetic, and will also give you prayers and affirmations that you could do to work on your body on an energetic level and a spiritual level while you're seeing your doctor's specialist or whatever. That's a really good book because it takes a tribe and a community, to be able to take care of you when you have issues. So I hope that helps, Theta. So she had an MRI setting on shots
or surgery. There was who was and again I can't. Do you remember there was somebody that Elias interviewed, and they had done a documentary, and she had severe back pain. Remember that? Do you remember what that
I do, and I can't think of her name either. Theta, you could reach out to Elias and ask him, Elias at eliaspatras.com. I know you know who Elias is. Maybe he can send you that direction to have you look into her, what she went through and what she's done. So, and I get that surgery versus shots. That's something you're going to have to sit with and intuitively make an informed decision. Regardless, if you're not comfortable, there's always second opinions. As a nurse, I would tell you that. Always get a second opinion and always make your decision informed, because you have the right to choose a doctor that you get along with and that understands your needs and what you want. So always make an informed decision. Don't let someone push you into something you're not comfortable with. So that's something I can say. So Lee. So Theta, let me see here. Who would be next? We kind of both answered that one. I guess we can grab the next one. So who's next, Aaron? And I don't want to it's late for Laura, so I don't want to keep her much longer. So if we have to get a little short, Ellen Jane wants a card. So do you want to try this one? And do we have do you want just a random answer, Ellen, or do you want a question? Oh, here we go. Oops, Aaron's going to smack me because I'm pushing buttons. I'm trying to get my cards back.
I get my feedback. A tough year with health and loss. Sorry about that. Oh my goodness. But things are turning better. I like that. I like you're not denying what you've been through. You've had a tough year with health and loss, but things are turning better. So I like that attitude. That is wonderful. That is really good. Yeah, that's the best thing to do is like, yes, this is true, but also this is true, right? So good. So yeah, let me pull some cards for Ellen. Let's see what's going on here. Hopefully it will affirm what you're going through right now, which is awesome. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, balance. Very good. Alrighty. Okay. Got some pretty good cards. I want to show you. All right. Look at these. The Destiny card. Okay. The Balance card. And the Material and Spiritual Prosperity card. Okay. So, Destiny card. With everything you've been through, okay, as I'm looking at this, and you've had some challenges, obviously, with health and loss, but my sense here is that as often when people go through rough times, it kind of refines what's important to you. You start to let go of the things that don't matter, and you start paying attention more to the things that really call to you, the things that really make more sense in your life. So I feel like that's been sharpened for you in a lot of ways. I hope that helps. So that's hopefully that affirms to you what you've experienced having gone through your tough year with health and loss. It really does make you focus on what's important and where you want to spend your energy and time. Balance, things coming back into balance. So the pendulum may have gone really far the other way with health and things like that, but it's starting to come back the other way. So you're starting to feel more at ease with how things are going. Material and spiritual prosperity, that's the physical world and your spiritual world more in line. So very interesting. So you most likely are starting to sense that you're starting to feel more balance between your physical and your spiritual self, and which is a wonderful thing. I'm going to pull one more card on top of that. Oh goodness, the wisdom card. Ooh, okay, this is about. I love it. You may not be going back to school or traditional school, but you may find that a teacher is coming into your awareness, or it may not be traditional teaching or actually going, taking a class or anything, but you're finding new teachers coming into your life for different things. So that's really awesome. So good stuff coming for you. I don't see anything to be worried about here. It's just affirming that you've turned a corner and things look good. Hope that helps, Ellen. I hope that makes sense too.
Good. How are you doing on time, Miss Laura? You okay?
I'm good.
Okay. I don't want to I know it's late. She's 2 hours ahead of us. So I always say back east. That's how we say it out here. You're back east. Anything east of Texas. I tell my husband anything east of Texas is back east to me. Being in Arizona. So who would be next for me, Miss Erin? Nancy Heinen, so financial. Oh, okay. That's a tough one too. Let me see what I can get here. I'm just going to pull a couple and see what I get. Of the heart card for financial. Oh, these are good. Well, these are really good cards. I'll show. I got the heal card.
Ooh.
Oh, and then I also have win or lose. Good card. Kind of heard what that one means. And then I have dreams are coming true.
Oh, good.
So these are good. These are good cards to go with. So if I were to look at the heal card for you, and I know a little bit about you, so I can kind of go with that. I think with the financial part, you have to almost like release the grip and allow universe to bring to you what's in your highest good. And I know that you like roll your eyes at me, Nancy, when I say this, but the healing card to me is more of like working on inner healing. So I know that you've had a lot of stuff go on with you in the last few years, and that you have that it has caused your finances and your emotions to go up and down and up and down. And I think what the universe is saying for you is that working on healing and getting on an even keel for you, and knowing that things will, I don't want to say things are going to work out, but I'm just knowing and having that knowledge and putting it out there, that you just know that this and something better will come to you, and having that affirmation that you want this or something better for you and what is in your highest good, and having that positive attitude towards that financially. Because I know that we all, especially in the last couple of years, because if Nancy does, well, she's retired now, but she used to take care of people, like do like hospice patients. She was be their caregiver. So she gave a lot of herself over the years. And I think that it's time that the universe is going to start giving back to you. So, and then the win or lose, I'm looking at this, and the first thing I heard with the win or lose for you, it's all in the attitude. It's all in the intentions of what's going on with you. You know, having that sword in the rock is kind of what I heard, and how not a lot of people King Arthur could pull that sword out of that stone. And when I see this, it's all about the attitude and what you can do and can't do, and having that positive attitude and keeping that positive flow the best you can, even though we all struggle. And just know that you can get out of this. You can pull yourself out of this. And then dreams are coming true is just, again, for me with this one, it's all about setting those intentions and setting that out to the universe and asking for what it is that you need in your highest good of this and something better, and doing those affirmations and keeping that positive attitude, and knowing, I mean, I know you have the family that helps you. I know you retired. You do some, you do this line of work from time to time. So even getting out there and doing more of that, and helping people on a different level versus the physical care that you did, maybe helping people because you have been through so much, helping people get through things in life by doing this line of work, and pulling cards and talking with people and sharing those experiences of what you've learned, turning into teaching is another thing. So just kind of what I'm hearing out loud. So I hope that helps, Nancy, and sending you lots of love, and you're tough. You'll make it through this, and just keep that positive attitude. So I hope that helps.
If anybody's challenged by finances, grab a pen for a second, pen or paper, or have something you can type on. Get ready, because I got something to tell you. All right.
Okay.
So while you're all looking for a pen and paper, or getting ready to type something out, I'm just going to tell you a little story. So many years ago, when money was a bit tighter than what it is right now, and it was like, okay, am I going to be able to make it to the next month? I heard this affirmation, and it really changed everything. Okay. So I wish I could attribute it to the right person. I think it might be Louise Hay. I'm not sure. I apologize if I'm not attributing it to the right person. But here we go. You ready? I pay my bills with ease, and I always have extra money. I pay my bills with ease, and I always have extra money. Now, I wrote that down and stuck it into my checkbook back when we used to write checks, right? Nobody does that anymore. I put it in my checkbook. And anytime I started to feel a little anxious about not making it, to the end of the month with, a negative bank balance, I would look at that and I'd read it. Okay. Now, if I found $1 stuffed in a pocket somewhere, I would celebrate it. Be like, I have extra money. I have extra money. It didn't matter if I found a quarter on the sidewalk. I've got extra money. Affirm it, affirm it, affirm it, celebrate it. And I cannot tell you, it really does work. And celebrate the little tiny victories that come in, even if it doesn't, it's not the $1 million lottery, but it gradually will get better. And it's the energy behind it. Like once you're reading that, just imagine reading that, you just feel better, right? And so energy brings it's a lot to do with manifesting. So again, I'm not, I can't say nobody's going to win the lottery, but count the smaller victories too. Okay. Cause it does add up over time. So I hope that helps.
Absolutely. That's beautiful, considering you said when you first read Hay House's, when you read Louise's affirmations, you're like, no,
No,
that
it's not
doesn't
that
work. And it
easy.
does. It absolutely,
It really does. Because it changes
that's
your
gotta be,
mindset.
that's gotta be crap.
Yeah, I was to say, can't possibly be, but it does. It changes your energy. You make different choices, and small choices that don't seem to be connected to what you're actually focusing on actually can affect
Mhm.
those things. You start to make different choices, and you start to talk differently to yourself. You start talking differently about your circumstances, and yeah, it's very powerful, actually. So.
Yeah, it does, and we've all been there. I've struggled. I've been in where I mean, in the negative in the checkbook and struggling and struggling, and I kept saying, "I'm going to be doing this. I am going to learn this. I will." I didn't become an RN till my 40s. And I, but I put my mind to it that I was going to go to school and I was going to have the money, and I paid for it out of my own pocket. I didn't have loans, and except for a regular student loan, but I didn't get anything given to me. And I will do this, and I will make a difference, and I will have my RN. And I didn't give up. And it was a struggle to go back to school, in your 40s. So it was, but you just have to stay positive and really set your mind to it that that's what you're going to do. And that's a beautiful, I wrote that one down. I'm going to put that in with my debit card or something, because I don't have a checkbook.
Yeah.
put it in my wallet with my cash that I have. That's beautiful. Thank you. So she said, let's see what she said. She said, that helps very much. Thank you. I know I got this. Just need a reminder from time to time. Yeah, you got this, Nancy. You do. So let's see here. Who would be, and I think we'll probably do, because it's after 8 and I don't want to keep you much longer. We're going to do one more. So who's the one more that we can do, Miss Erin? And I apologize if we don't get to you. A spiritual card from Shelley Ferrano. So she's got a beautiful family there. Look at those little kids. Oh, beautiful family. So you want to do the spiritual card?
Sure. All right, Shelley. Okay. Just going to shuffle. So let's see what the cards want to say to Shelley.
I was going to point out your cards have a lot of wear on them. You've been wearing them, using them a long time.
This is the original deck. Like when this deck first came out, like that it was just brand new. It just come out. It was one of the first decks that were printed. So I
don't know if it's the first deck, but me too. My deck is like the original, one of the original decks.
Yeah, I love it. Still got the gold edging. They don't do the gold edging anymore.
Oh, you know what? I don't have. Oh yeah, I have the gold edging. Yeah,
they don't do those anymore, so we're lucky we get them. Although all the gold edging is worn off now.
I think it makes them so pretty.
Yeah.
And 2011.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's how long I've had this deck.
Yeah, so it's 12 years old.
Yeah, that's when he signed my book. Sweet man.
Very nice. Yep. Okay, so let's see. Already, spiritual. Like, what are you saying? Spiritual, but that's like a big topic. So, Shelley, what about spiritual do you want to know? We'll give her a moment to. So I've got cards here
to answer. Yeah. And while we're waiting, if we don't get you tonight, I'll be back again next Monday. I'll do next Monday is card night. I will do cards, but I also don't want to keep Laura up late because it is after 9 o'clock there for her. Actually, it's later. It's after 10 o'clock. So
yeah.
Well, if Shelley, you want to let us know what direction you mean for spiritual, then we'll go from there. Let's see if it's not. Here we go.
Let's see.
Give her a second to answer us.
I'm curious. I'm picking up a little bit about her aura too, so I'm very curious what. And I don't want to put too much out there without knowing.
I don't see auras. I feel them. My mom saw them, so she would say that. Oh, there we go. No, that's Edie. That's coming up. We'll wait for her to see if she's Shelly. I hope you're still on here.
Hopefully she
Oh,
is.
wait a minute. Adriana. But yeah, I don't see auras. I feel them. My mom saw them. So
Yeah. When I see people's names, I see it clairvoyantly. I'll see people's auras. So I'm very curious from what Shelley has to say, but I'm like, I don't want to.
if she does, oh, there she is. Here we go.
Spiritual pathway, wondering about auras and energy. Isn't that interesting? That isn't that so funny? So
oh, Laura, you must be psychic.
Wondering about auras and energy. Well, let's go a little bit deeper with that, Shelley. What are you wondering about auras and energy? Is it you want to study about them? You want to learn more about them? Is that what? Because okay,
I'm doing a spiritual pathway and wondering about.
let me tell you what I'm seeing with your aura around your name, and I'll go with that. Okay, and then as she's typing the answer here. Definitely, it's funny because she's asking about spiritual pathway. Definitely a lot of white light around you, which oftentimes is the spiritual focus, right? And then there's a lot of blue. Now, I'm seeing these colors may mean different things to you if you see colors, but this is what the colors mean to me. I'm seeing like a indigo blue, and not indigo, like navy blue around Shelley's energy. That's the mental energy. This is like she's a thinker. She thinks her way through things. So she's got the spiritual thing going on, and she's got the thinking mind going on, right? So she's going to think her way into spirituality. Which does help. It can be done. But she's going to do it very thoughtfully, and she's going to think about it quite a bit. See, she's wondering why she can't see her. She's trying. Yes. See,
spot on.
Oh my gosh! So this is it crazy how this works. So there's that. All right, so yeah, so you're thinking about it a lot. So, and I love people who have that balance between the spiritual side and the mental side, because you tend to stay very grounded, and you tend not to go off, into the ethers with all this stuff, right? And you don't buy everything that people are trying to, or the ideas that everybody's trying to get across in the spiritual. Not everything in the spiritual world is legit, right? So you're not going to buy everything that people are going to tell you. You're going to be like, really? I don't know about that. So, and that's a good place to be. I find that very healthy. But so what I'm seeing here, spiritual path, I'm getting the patience card with you. So it's like you're not going to get this all in one fell swoop. Okay, it's going to take like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. There's going to be days where you're going to feel like you believe everything and you have such faith in your spiritualness, right? You can have such faith in it, and the next day you're going to be like, this stuff is BS. Oh my God, what am I doing here? Right? You're going to be going back and forth, back and forth. I think it's very healthy, actually. So, and you're probably already experiencing that a little bit. She hasn't said, and we'll see what you say, but just know you're on the right track with this, because you definitely have that awareness around you, and there's many different paths that are in front of you still as well. You say in the spiritual pathway, but there's many different pathways in front of you still, and you're not quite sure where you're going. That's quite all right to not have anything narrowed down specifically. I think that's also very healthy. Where was I going? Oh, with the auras. I go off on tangents. Wondering about auras and energy. Why I can't see auras, trying really hard. Are you trying to see them with your physical eyes? Or are you trying to see them with your third eye, your clairvoyance? There's so many ways we can see auras. And like I said, some people can see it with their physical eyes. I sometimes can see it with the physical. Most of the time I see it with my third eye, my that screen that's in here, my mind's eye, I will see auras. Some people just know what someone's aura colors are. They just know it. They just know, they have a gut feeling. Yes, physical. Okay. Yeah. Try, Shelley, try going more clairvoyantly rather than seeing it physically. You have to have the right lighting circumstances and everything to see auras fit with your physical eyes. Try clairvoyance. Okay. So for example, let me see how the best way to do this. Gosh, I wish I had you in a class. We could do this would be so much fun. I did this in
We
my
should do you should do a class with auras. Yeah.
yeah. We do this in my psychic development class, and I do it in some of my mediumship development classes too, because I think it's important to see those things with mediumship as well.
Mhm.
So Shelley, what I would do is sit with random people like that and just close your eyes and what colors, like what's the first color that comes to your mind? And then write down the second color that comes to your mind when you're focused on a particular person. Actually, let's do this. Shelley, do you have a minute? Ginger, you get a minute? Okay.
No, I'm good.
Okay. So Shelley, what I want you to do, if you can, if you're in a place where you're not distracted, just take a moment. I mean, close your eyes and take a breath. Close your eyes and release your breath. I want you to focus on Ginger. Don't look at her with your physical eyes. I want you to just focus on Ginger. Bring your attention to her, but keep your eyes closed. What's the first color that comes to your mind around Ginger? All right. Don't think about it. Red. Okay. Red. Excellent. Okay. What's the second color that you see around her or feel around her, you sense around her? Okay. Let's see. Blue. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to take one more step forward. What kind of blue? Is it light blue or dark blue? I love this stuff. I love it. Okay. And you work today, right, Ginger?
Mhm.
Okay. All right, let's see what Shelley says about the blue. Light blue. Yes, I knew it. Yes. Very good. I'll talk about the red in a second. I'm sorry if I made that too loud of a clap. Okay, light blue. Light blue is about communication. It's her throat chakra. She's interviewing and she's talking. She's communicating. She's being a presenter right now. So light blue, Clara, that's the throat chakra. Bingo. So this is my own personal thing, but the second and third colors that I sense around people tend to be about the current circumstances. Okay. The first colors, at least in my experience, it might be different again for everybody else. The first color tends to be very much a part of who someone is. Now, red, yeah, no, don't worry. Red's very grounded. Red for me is a very grounded color. Now you have to, for the job that you do, right? Because you work in healthcare, right?
Yeah, I do.
You have to be focused on the physical world. You have to be, so this is, you worked all day today. That's been your focus. Then you had to switch to communication, which is the blue, right? So that makes sense, right? Now, other colors, I see other colors around you as well, because you're in teaching mode. So I'm seeing the colors that I would see around a teacher. It's around you as well. And there's multiple colors around her, but these are the primary colors too. Now, if you had said, well, I stopped at the gym on the way from work before you did this, I'd be like, that's why you're seeing red, because you kept going to the gym. It's a very physical thing. But your work has your attention right now. That's been who you are today. So,
and I'm super Taurus also. So that's I'm back.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. So very good, Shelley. See,
you saw an aura. Or you sensed it. Let's change it. Like rather than having I must see, how about you sensed? Like now you can say I sense auras. All right, Shelley? Good. All right.
Because it's just as good. So to be able to sense them, you're welcome. So we don't keep Laura. I mean, I got her all worked up now. She'd be like, all right, I'm ready to go on the stage. We'll have to do one where I'll have to have you come back and we'll have to do a little teaching session instead of, we talked about intuitive children. I'm passionate about that because I was one and I hate to see children get shut down when they have such, when they, who knows, by keeping them open, what gifts they'll bring into the world and what good they'll be able to do if they're allowed to feel and see and hear and say that one thing to that one person that may change their life forever. You never know, just that kindness. But anyway, so yes, Edie, we'll do that. We'll have to, Laura and I will have to set that up and come back, because I think I found her passion button here. It's as much as mine is teaching and watching people be able to do it. I get so excited. So if anyone, and I think Aaron, I don't know if you made a flag or not, but if you want to get a hold of Laura, it's laurawooster.com. It's as easy as her name, laurawooster.com. You can go to her website. Yep. And Coco's telling me all about it in the background. He just growled. "Arr, arr, arr." I would say barking on the truth when my dogs do that. You can, Aaron put it in the comments. You can contact her, email her, look for classes that she teaches. Listen to her, barking on the truth again. Listen to her podcast. They're wonderful. They're very informative. It's fun. It's fun and informative, and always keep yourself open for learning, because I always say I will never grow old, because the day I grow old is the day I die, because I can no longer learn and grow. So that's just something that I'm pretty passionate about. I'll always be, I refuse to grow up. That's it. I refuse to grow up, because the day I grow up means that I can no longer learn and grow. So anyway, there's her information in the, and by the way, we're on YouTube also. I forgot to mention that. So thank you so much for being here. And everybody, to say thank you to Laura. This was fun. Like I said, I woke her up. Now she's not going to be able to go back.
I know. I was like, oh, it's so late. I'm going to sleep. No, it's fine. No, it was good. Thanks everybody for being here tonight. And yeah, this is awesome. Thank you, Ginger.
Oh, you're welcome. And hang on for a little bit. As soon as we get done, we'll just finish up. And I'll be back next Monday, guys. We'll do cards next Monday. But this was lots of fun. I really hope everyone enjoyed it. I know I enjoyed Laura. She's amazing, sweet, smart, beautiful, and hell of a good medium. I've watched her work. So, and there we go. And we will, at this point, we'll just say good night, everyone. And as I always say, from my heart to yours, have a really good night. And thank you so much. There we go, Aaron. Bye-bye.